Jane asks, what are your thoughts about leaders investing in coaching support to help harness this new empathy, vulnerability, when budgets are tight and businesses are in survival mode?
I think it's quite actually. It's, you know, it's almost in order for leaders to really lead effectively, in order to be able to step into their leadership whilst, as you say, Jenny, caring for themselves and caring about the bigger world, it's important that they do invest in coaching to support that, because having that person, that third person, that outsider who can help give a different perspective is absolutely essential when there's so much noise out there. Having that very clear, razor sharp focus and support, I would say, is essential. And I appreciate, yeah, budgets are tight and businesses are in survival modes, but actually, in order to really thrive, and not just survive through this, but thrive through this, I think having that coaching support is really important. Having that space and giving yourself that space and permission of time to actually explore what's going on, to really explore deeply what's going on, is essential.
Thank you. And Jackie?
I recognise, because I've seen it, that a lot of organisations are struggling with the financial aspect of providing one-on-one coaching, because after all, budgets, it requires quite a big budget. And I like to see myself as doing a bit of what I call guerrilla coaching. So I sort of like throw stuff out, you know, through my Insta posts, books, podcasts, video clips, every piece of teaching that I do or facilitation, I'm sharing something, because I'm recognizing that we have to have, as agents of change. So I know I can't remember how many percentage of people, 31% that did your poll this morning were coaches. Yeah. So, you know, if we're going to be agents of changes of coaches, as coaches, I think also a paradigm shift is we need to challenge how we coach. And the old way of just doing one-to-one coaching, I just think we have to look at different ways of showing up in the world as coaches. I'm really interested in, I read this book many years ago called Crossing the Unknown Seas by David White. He's an Irish poet. And in it, there was this conversation he was having with a very good friend about exhaustion. And he says that, you know, that he was asking his friend about why and how he could really deal with exhaustion. And given this is what we're talking about today, this was what the priest's response was. You know that the antidote to exhaustion is not rest. The antidote to exhaustion is wholeheartedness. You are so tired because you can't be wholehearted at what you are doing. And what he said to David White, who was a poet, who was working as a consultant in organizations and was totally feeling lost and not feeling like he was really contributing, he said to him, because your real conversation with life is through poetry. So for me, the wholeheartedness is in every conversation that I have, is in every blog post that I write, is for the recognition of every mistake that I make, is for recognizing my strengths and my values in another area of my life, for showing up and holding space for somebody who is struggling, for the shopkeeper who, you know, we have a great good morning, smile at each other and just have a lovely transaction. You know, the transactional is transformational. The transformational is also transactional.
Love it, love it. And I love David White. He's amazing. I got to meet him many years ago now, and he's just an amazing man. So do look him up. White, W-H-Y-T-E, if anyone can find David White. So thank you for that, Jackie. Everyone, I've added Jackie and Jess's Twitter to the chat. Hopefully you can see it there. They both put out some amazing material. Jess does a weekly video. Jackie sends so much out in terms of her journaling and prompts and wonderful materials as well. And as do I as well. Do look at my website, jennygarrett.global, but there's a lot that we're putting out to support people in terms of who can't access coaching. I also have an online program which is really, really cheap and gives you access to a secret Facebook group, and that's another way of really accessing some coaching support in a reasonable fashion. But you know, instead of asking that question, can we afford coaching, I would turn it around and saying, what's the cost of not getting the support that you need? Yeah, you won't be around to lead others. You won't be around to support others. You're going to burn yourself out potentially. Yeah, and that's what happens. We leave things too late. There are a lot of women here. I don't think everyone's a woman, but there's a lot of women here. And we give and we give and we give until we're at that burnout point, at which point we're taking 6 months off work, at which point we're in hospital because some illness has got so bad. Yeah. So the cost isn't what's the cost of investing, it's what's the cost of not investing. And I'm a person who be quite easily prone to overworking, but I have to stop myself and ask me that question on a regular basis. Oh, what's the cost of me working all weekend? Yeah, what's the cost of me not working all weekend? And think about that. The cost of me working all weekend, if I do that consistently, is I'm going to become ill. And actually, I'm not going to be a nice person to be around, and I'm not going to do my best work. So this cost investment thing is not necessarily about money. It's about so much more. And there is no cost to your own well-being. And actually, if you think about the cascade as well of when you at your best, how that cascades, how many people that impacts, the difference it makes, not just for you, but for so many lives. This is what we're investing in. So that's how I look at these things.
I go on my morning walks. That's my, and you know, that's how I feed myself. That's how I put the soil into my day, is those morning walks. I did it this morning, and it just really sets me up for the day. And one of the other things that I've recognized for me during COVID-19, I'm almost on 150 days without stopping, not missing a day of meditation.
Wow.
And to me, that has been the biggest game changer. It's helped me. I feel like I've been a tree that has weathered some pretty fierce storms because of that anchoring.
And it's really important to find the thing that works for you, because getting up early before anybody else is up and just having that half an hour myself. If I go for a walk, or if I literally just sit in silence, it makes a massive difference. And I feel it when I'm not doing that. And I started doing that during lockdown, just to be able to get some headspace, literally just to get that headspace. And it's a relatively simple thing, just to wake up slightly earlier, just to get that quiet and space.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Finding the thing that works for you. And it can be something quite simple.